Scotland Neck is a rural farm community. When I was here, the population was maybe 10,000. So it was a larger town, and it had businesses. In fact, in the South, the thing that people do on Saturday night is they come to town and they walk up and down Main Street to socialize with neighbors and friends that they haven't seen. And that's the community, that's the Scotland Neck I remember. It was a small town, but it had a very welcoming atmosphere where people knew that if you wanted to meet someone that you had not seen in a while, you could go downtown on Saturday night. They had major businesses. Now we have no businesses. In fact, when you go down Main Street, you see it's deteriorating. I mean, the buildings are falling down. There are roofs off the building. That was because of the recent hurricane. But, you know, all we have is I think we have 2 drugstores, a grocery store. There's no place to shop, no place to buy clothing now, and it wasn't that way before.
Why do you feel it's important to have this conversation during a high school reunion?
You know, it's because of the nostalgia. You know, all of these folk have a vested interest in education because they see a stark difference between the quality of education that they receive in this community and what's existing now for our children and grandchildren.
Let's look at the statistics for our children of color. Taking it all into consideration, 7.1% difference. But again, we're not starting at a high bar in 2001. We're talking about white students barely at 70%, and a difference here for our leaders of color, children of color, at 71.1%. Fast forward to 2010, look at that drop. From 70% to 44.4% for white students. Far worse for our children of color. African Americans, 62% in 2001, 28.9%. Hispanic, 53.8, 27.5. Native American, you see it. So there was a difference between white and children of color, 11.2%. You can all see that's devastating.
We have quite a few charter schools in Connecticut. Those charter schools are dealing with the same identical school children that we have in public schools. Their grades or the scores have gone up above the state average. The main thing about the charter school is they have flexibility. They can pretty much do it the way they want to do it. They also have intense training. I've never taught there, but I have quite a few friends who work in the school, and I have seen the results of what they do. And they are continuing to pop up in Connecticut, and they do a great job. And then, like I said, I want to challenge each individual to go into a public school, and their very first goal, I guess, the need, that's the first thing, and they will see a need. Some of these children need alternatives.
The involvement of the community is one thing that I think that needs to be done. We need a good community organizer to pull together the people, to help them understand the value of keeping up a good economic base in the town, educational system. These are the things that people look for when they're trying to come to a community. You have a good school, you have a good library, we have a very nice library, but until people use resources, they go away, and without resources, it's not a good community. We have a little hospital, which is nice. We have but in all of these areas that we have, you have to have people who are out there supporting them. When you drive 25 miles away to get a loaf of bread and some milk, and you then can't get one later on because your supermarket is closed down, what good is that to you? Yeah. So there are a lot of things, but the big thing is that we need to get a lot of the younger parents and the ones who have the children involved in this kind of dialogue, because all of these people, like myself, will be going back to New York and New Jersey, Brawley, and the people who are here have to understand that future and their children's future that will be affected. So we need to get them very much involved in the process of evaluating what it is that they want in the community.
Today we came because we found out about parents for education freedom and thought that Scotland Neck would be an ideal community for a program like that, since we no longer had an elementary school in our community. They do have a primary school that's K through 3, but kids who are grades 3 through 7 go to the neighboring town. Not only is it the neighboring town, but they go beyond the neighboring town for an education, and we felt that that was just very, very wrong to put these small children on buses. And it must be an expense as well, because as you know, gas prices are extremely high now. So we wanted to see what we could do to try and help connect the community, which is a challenge, but we're not going to give up. We're going to keep on. And as you heard today, some of the community is a little reserved. They want to know what are we getting out of this? And we're not getting anything out of it. What we want to do is give something back to them by helping them to improve the quality of education here in Halifax County, and particularly in Scotland Neck.